challenge is, how do you get employees to want to go to the office so that then becomes natural and that you can balance all of that out? Because one of the things that people often don't take into account is, if you have an office, let's say the office, the closest Cisco office to me is about 15 minutes away. It can hold 300 people. Well, during the pandemic, when we were allowed to go in there, that office was still being fully heated in the winter, and you know how cold the winters are up here, and then fully cooled in the summer as well. And the 300 people that live around the office were fully heating and cooling their homes at the same time. So this notion, the other way you got to look at this is from a sustainability perspective, is how do I drive employees to want to go to the office? So I'm 15 minutes away. Believe it or not, especially in the middle of winter, I'm the only one at home. It is far more sustainable for me to go and drive to the office and consume the half a gallon of fuel that I need to go and drive to the office and back than it is to stay at home and have the heating on normal. So I would go out of the home and then turn my heating way down. That's going to be far more sustainable. Now multiply that by the 300 other people in the same. Now, not everybody is going to be in a situation where they're the only ones at home, granted.
Sure.
But what percentage do you want to take? Take 50%, take 60%. So I think that could then be another reason, not only because of, hey, you have a great collaboration center, experience center, like you said as well, where people want to go to the office, but I might want to go to the office because it's actually a more sustainable option for me as well. Particular in sort of cities where you then have a lot of infrastructure, trains, and everything else to take you to the office. So that could be the second reason. The third reason, what people don't realize, is that most of the time their homes are very unhealthy if they're in a small bedroom, small office, doors closed. You'll be shocked how quickly your carbon dioxide levels actually go up. In my home office, if I don't have any heat on in terms of airflow, within an hour I will double my CO, because I'm measuring it, I will double my CO2 level to 1100 parts per million. Well, most of the time, once you get north of 1,000, then certain groups of people will start to get affected by that. Once you get above 1,500, it's generally considered to be extremely unhealthy. The problem is you don't know that that's what's causing it. You have no way of knowing that. Your symptoms will be is you're going to get more fatigued, you're going to get more irritable, you won't be able to concentrate as much, and your productivity will go down. And I think it's Google that did a survey not so long ago where they actually measured this. They had developers, and they put these developers in different rooms and had the carbon dioxide at different levels in each room. And they were able to exactly see that their productivity, the amount of code that those developers could produce when they were exposed to high levels of carbon dioxide, was far less than those that were in fresh air. So a lot of companies will start to think about that. And people don't realize that the home can actually be extremely unhealthy, especially if you have radiant heat and you have no air circulation. Because what happens is houses these days, they're all tight.
Yeah.
They're all designed to be extremely tight. So you're getting no fresh air that's coming into houses, and especially if you have radiant heat. And a lot of places around the world have just radiant heat. And in the winter, people aren't going to think of opening up the window or anything like that. So that's going to be the third leg of the stool there, which is I'm going to go to the office because it's better for my well-being. And a good little example of that was earlier this year. As you know, in this area, we had a lot of smoke being sent over from Canada, to the extent that it was the worst pollution ever in New York City, to the extent that now you didn't even have to measure it because people could visibly see it in there. But our office there, everything is measured. All of our devices have environmental sensors in there in the open area. So people were actually coming to the office because they couldn't maintain in their apartments clean air. And they realized, okay, in the office, it's actually clean air. So let me do my 10, 15, 20, half an hour commute or whatever it is. At least I'm now going to be in an environment that's healthy, because they could see that it's actually healthy. So that's your third. So I'm going to go, part of the way of driving that behavior is I'm going to go there because I can collaborate better. I have these wonderful systems in these rooms that give me a much, much better experience in there. It's better for my well-being, or it's actually a more sustainable option for me as well.